You're listening to DC On Screen. We almost didn't make it this week, but we managed to jump on late to discuss DC film delays, Disney's massive, streaming-focused reorganization that's going to change everything forever, and HBO Max's Green Lantern. All that and more. Plus, your questions. Right after this ad that we have no control over.
Are you struggling to conceive? You have options, and at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group, we'll make sure you have the guidance and support you need. PREG is known for individualized fertility care that's unique to every patient. We take the time to provide a reassuring and empowering experience because we believe that you deserve nothing less. Let us help you on your journey to parenthood. Visit us at pregonline.com to learn more. Get the guidance and support you need at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group.
When I was diagnosed with cancer, it felt like my whole world came tumbling down.
Patient Advocate Foundation is here for you, providing free one-on-one practical support to patients with a cancer diagnosis. Call us at 800-532-5274. Patient Advocate Foundation can assist in navigating disability benefits and health insurance options. PAF also helps in accessing vital services, medications, and financial resources for both medical and household expenses. Visit patientadvocate.org or call 800-532-5274.
Welcome into DC On Screen episode 615. This is the podcast where we talk about the DC Comics multiverse on film and television, give honest opinions on projects upcoming and past, and believe that every version of a property is valid even if we really don't want it to be. If it has been released, it is fair game, so beware of spoilers, and welcome to the show. I'm David C. Robertson, and this is the man who's been desperately fighting a Google thermostat, Jason Goss.
I'm still not winning, but I'm fighting.
So because of that epic fight, we're going to have to hurry this episode along a little more than we were going to, but there's not a lot to talk about, honestly.
Yeah, we'll just hit it and go.
All right, so thanks to the patrons, you warm, wonderful people. Mm-hmm. If you'd like to join their ranks, it's just $1 a month to support this show and get every episode ad-free, and $5 a month for extra content like Chasing Squirrels and Marvel reviews and so on and so forth when we have it available. So, on the movie news side of things, it's mostly just delays.
Mm-hmm. It's mostly news about not news.
Yeah, the Batman's been delayed until March 4th,
right,
2022, and we all knew that was going to happen when WB pushed Dune back to October,
yeah,
which was where the Batman was supposed to be.
Right.
The Flash has been moved from June to November 4th, 2022. But good news, Billy Crudup is in talks to come back as Henry Allen. So
that's pretty sweet.
Come on, Kirstie Clemens.
Mm-hmm.
Shazam! Fury of the Gods is moving to June 2nd, 2023. At this point, they might as well just write the third one and shoot them back to back.
Just go for it.
Because like Zach said, man, those kids they're not slowing down in growth. Here's a sad one. Black Adam has been taken off the WB release schedule. It was going to be December 22nd, 2021. But that's the new release date for Matrix 4, and we don't have a date for Black Adam now.
Look, I'm just putting my, hat in the ring, or number in the hat, or number in the ring in the hat, or whatever the hell you call it. But I just don't think they know where it's landing. I don't think that's off the slate.
No, I don't think it is. No, I don't think it's not happening. It's just, I think it's
They just haven't found the landing place for it yet.
But to be fair, let's just say all of these things are up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll talk about this just a little bit. I wasn't gonna, but then you were like, we should. So,
I have just a fun sidebar before that.
Mm-hmm.
How much fun would it be if Crudup showed up as Manhattan instead?
Can we do both?
Nothing stopped. Like, if you put him in all that blue, you were not going to recognize him versus the actor anyway. So fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, that was it.
We show Billy Crudup show up as Dr. Manhattan, and then they do an uncharacteristic close-up of the dick, and it's Zack Snyder going, yeah! I'm back, baby!
Or, like, give him a little graphic that's like the Mortal Kombat, whoopee! kind of thing at just the bottom right of the screen.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes. Can we do that? Every time there's some sort of like humor that undercuts the drama behind the movie, we'll have Zack Snyder pop up and go, whoopsie.
Yeah. Let's eventually just have a version of Justice League where it's just like a 7-hour long cut of the movie that's kind of fucked up, but it's in one corner it's like a graphic of John's doing that, and another corner it's a version of Snyder doing the whoopee, and they're just fighting the entire time.
Mm-hmm. I'd watch it.
Yeah.
All right. So Patty Jenkins, director of Wonder Woman, has warned that the cinema shutdown will not be a reversible process. All right. She says we could lose movie theater going forever. And that was with, she was talking to Reuters about that. She said it could be the kind of thing that happened to the music industry, where you could crumble the entire industry by making it something that can't be profitable. And she assured us that a straight-to-video or a video-in-demand play for Wonder Woman 1984 is not in the cards. Warner Brothers doesn't want to do that. She says, I don't think any of us want to live in a world where the only option is to take your kids to watch a movie in your own living room and not have a place to go for a date. I really hope that we are able to be one of the very first ones to come back and bring that into everyone's life. And some of that's well and good, that last sentiment especially. And look, there are still drive-in theaters. There are a few around here.
Pop-up theaters even.
Pop-up theaters and stuff. But if you're asking me, and I know from talking to you, you feel the same way.
I do. But for me, I'll ask you, Dave, what do you think about this?
Tone deaf as hell.
A little bit.
And honestly, incredibly selfish. I
don't want to make it a personal
this isn't about your art form.
Because I get that. I really do. Some part of me wants to give her like a little bit of credit and be like, I don't know. I think she just maybe isn't seeing the scope of the matter right now.
Maybe she's just towing the Warner Brothers line, because think about
it's entirely
it. If
possible
Warner Media,
they're feeding her that, telling her, no, we're going to make you the first foot forward. Like we're saving this for a reason, the whole thing.
Right. And look, Warner Media, Warner Brothers, whoever. It could be either one of those characters.
And yes, you need a whole flow chart to keep track of it, but right now it could be any of them to some extent.
Yeah. So they might be telling her, hey, look, keep pushing the theater angle. And you know right now, if they came out and said, hey, theater's not going to happen. Sorry, 84 fans. What we're going to do is we're going to put it on an HBO Max. Patty Jenkins, her ass would be somewhere, Variety, Hollywood Reporter, one of these places talking about what an opportunity is to have your movie premiere on this new digital streaming blah blah. Look, she'd be great with it.
As what is effectively an employee level job to some extent when it comes to press. Yeah, of course she would. I mean, yeah. Like we've seen these lies in the last few years, and varying levels of gravity. But yeah, dude, of course she'd push that angle. And what choice would you have? Also, like, you might as well lean into this being something fun instead of a thing you didn't want to do. Yeah. Like, if you had told Tenet a month ago, hey, this is what we're going to do instead, he had put so much press out and been so forward on the subject a certain way that I don't know how he would have possibly reversed that. Mm-hmm. This is the first time I've heard Patty Jenkins say anything that would be even close to that direction. And even still, you could easily write her a press release where she would come back and say, well, we thought something was going on this way, but hey, like, this is a great opportunity and blah, 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 blah. You can imagine the rest, right?
Yeah. It's so crazy to me that people are still like towing this line and still saying this stuff. Like Regal Cinemas, like the second largest
356 theaters, I think it was.
Yeah. Like they're shut down.
They're gone for now.
For now. Probably forever. Honestly.
Very, very possibly. Like their stock price is not great.
AMC is going to have to figure something out.
Well,
honestly, they are. They've already said they're not going to play Universal movies. They better jump right. They better backpedal fast, buddy, because y'all.
I mean, look, was it Cineworld, I think, was the official holder of Regal Cinemas. Their stock price is at literally a fraction of what it was, say, in January.
Right.
If you have real faith in in the cinema coming back and want to do some investing, hey, buy it con Dios, man. I'm not suggesting it for God's sake and at least for legal purposes, but I'm just saying at the moment that it's dirt. It's literally like $4.72. I think I saw earlier. It's nothing compared to like $70 or $80. AMC didn't look that much better. Like that since February, they have just ticked down in a way. Like there's a very, very small downtick if you look at them for like the last 3 years, but it's very small. Yeah. It's not precipitous. This last thing, it's bad.
I already had this on the docket to talk about because you and I spoke about it. This was, I think it was October 8th that Patty says this. Not like an hour after you and I talked about it. CNBC publishes this. Disney says its primary focus for entertainment is streaming, announces a major reorganization. Here are the key points. Disney is restructuring its media and entertainment divisions. In order to further accelerate its direct-to-consumer strategy, the company will be centralizing its media businesses into a single organization that will be responsible for content distribution, ad sales, and Disney+. The change comes as the global coronavirus pandemic has crippled its theatrical business and ushered more customers towards its streaming options. Now, the CEO, though, says, here's a quote from the article, I would not characterize it as a response to COVID.
Gotta go ahead and call my BS meter right now.
I would say COVID accelerated the rate at which we made this transition, but this transition was going to happen anyway.
And the BS meter is back to where I found it.
Yep.
All right, so before you sent me that,
absolutely true.
Before you sent me that this afternoon, I really I spent whatever downtime I had today just looking for whatever I could find to track the situation, because our ongoing stance has kind of been for a few years, and God, I wouldn't know where to point you to, but it is. We've said this on record, like before COVID was a word we knew, outside of a lab, that some of this wasn't sustainable. Like that there are just parts of this business model that were already kind of hurting. And yes, it's streaming services. It's for sure streaming services that have done that are the major disruptor in the industry. I didn't know exactly where that was going to land, and honestly, I spent a lot of time today trying to look for something that was kind of like, hey, let me get a really good, I need a factual something that changed. And then you sent me that article. I was like, oh, cool. I was just looking too early. It dropped. Yeah. It dropped a couple hours after I was looking this afternoon. That's bad. That's really bad if you're a movie theater.
Let me further contextualize what this means. David Sandberg, the director of Shazam, tweeted that link to that CNBC article and says, R.I.P. theaters, I guess.
I mean, really, probably. Look, I mean, it's things are changing, and COVID sped some changes up and made some changes happen that were never going to happen to begin with. And look, man, the world changed a lot in the last year, but this was maybe something that was a little bit inevitable. Like, do you remember George Lucas predicting that eventually theater tickets would be like $100, $150 a pop because they would change it to a high-end experience? Yeah, I mean, something on the level of like going to Broadway, or like you'd have a really nice theater where everything was on point, and it was I don't know, it was great, and there were actual stairwells going up to things and shit like that. I don't know, but I don't know how you make a $150 movie ticket for me personally, but that's something I was always going to be priced out of personally. But the fact that it changed so much in the time frame that it did, to me, it's I'm hurting more over the idea that, especially with some of Jim Lee's comments, that maybe the monthly print issues are just on a ticking clock.
Yeah, they are,
and it's just kind of a matter of time before I'm just going to be forced to read it digitally and get the trade paperback if I fell so led. But
yeah, man. I mean, hey, I've got people in my life who just refuse to accept what's happening with theaters, and I've sent them all the same thing pretty much. Or told them all the same thing. I've basically quoted Bob Dylan to them, man. Like, your old road is rapidly aging. Get out of the new one if you can't lend your hand, man. For the times they are a-changing. Like, that song says everything. The line it is drawn, the curse it is cast, the slow one now will later be fast.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say
the
you
order
didn't
is
want to work
rapidly
on Maggie's
fading, you
farm
know.
Anymore.
No, well, I don't, but
But I think that's relevant too.
But the good Lord, this isn't up for debate. Like, it's going away.
No,
So
honestly, like, you
spend your $30
you
on
sent me that
Milan,
article
y'all.
pretty much like as I was starting to work on this thermostat, and I had stopped to read it real quick and try to get back. But like that felt like a death knell, dude.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it previously. We've alluded to it at least. Like the release of Milan was, let's face it, kind of a big deal. Like the fact that they were going to put one of their high budget movies that they would have counted on if it was like, it would have been not the biggest tentpole, but it would have been a tentpole for them just to get through like late summer.
Right.
And the fact that they just said, no, VOD, and here's how we're doing it. And we have a whole new processing system. And we've got an entirely different pricing structure, and it's going to connect to Disney Plus this way. That was very calculated. And in saying that, like there's, I forget the date on that CNBC article, but it said that there was like there's going to be an investors day to kind of explain the process to people that, you know, have literally stock in the matter. By like first quarter of 2021, they're supposed to have a new structure on their books for how they're going to report actual earnings. Like this isn't we're going to see how it goes. They're doing this. They're doing this full stop. This is what's happening now. And just to be sure, they specifically mention that it involves the Marvel Studios movies. You have no reason to think necessarily that you're going to go to a theater and see the next Marvel movie.
No.
We don't know where that lands yet. Now, and part of that is because Regal's shutting down for now, and we know it's for now, but fuck, we'll see. I mean, they're hanging on by a string. Like I listened to something from Variety earlier today where it was talking about I forget the name of the guy, but it's like an LA theater holder who's been there his family's been, you know, a theater owner in LA for 100 years. And, you know, talking about how they survived the 1930s and 40s even, like they just made adjustments. And this is the first time they've shut down. Like 9/11, they showed movies. Earthquakes, they showed movies. Riots, they showed movies. They shut down after all that. At the same time, I've heard people talking about in New York, same thing, theater owners, especially some of the big, like AMC and Regal kind of owners talking about they can't get to the New York market right now because among many things, like one of the things that Cuomo said was a no-go right now is theaters. Like even if he opened theaters, he'd have to talk about concessions, and that is a whole thing that like he's just straight up told him, no, we're not doing it, and kind of to some extent understand the argument they have is like, why are there restaurants open but we can't do theaters? Look, long story there, and we can get into it if you want to, but it's complicated, and I don't know the answers. I do know they can't get into that market. Yeah. So with LA and New York shut down, I don't know how the hell Regal's going to get off the mat here in a couple months.
I don't either. And even that article where Patty Jenkins was talking about that stuff, they said that 70% of theaters are still going, not counting, you know, like Manhattan and LA and stuff. I think that's a generous number. I don't think it's 70%. But
I don't think it is. And even if you don't include it,
people aren't going. It doesn't matter that they're open. People aren't going.
All right. So one of the articles I did find that was pretty informative for me, it was another Variety article, and it was from, I think, October 8th or 10th. I'm sorry. But it was with some producers, and even they talked about, look, I've gone to drive-ins, I've gone to pop-ups, I've gone to whatever, I've done this and that and that. And even they talked about they went to go see a movie in a theater and were like struck by, you know, they're sitting one seat across from somebody who, you know, came in with their mask, but then they got a popcorn, took off their mask, and then ate popcorn the entire movie and used that as an excuse not to wear the mask anymore. We can talk about mask efficacy all you want later, but what that told that moviegoer, and this is a moviegoer who has skin in the game, is that they weren't comfortable in that theater. Because even when they went and risked it, they were still sitting around people that made them uncomfortable, and they weren't able to enjoy the movie.
That's right.
So, yeah, even if you have a situation that is like justifiable, you've still got to get people back on board with going to do that experience. I mean, personally, I'm not there. I wouldn't go to a movie right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I have people at risk in my family, like seriously at risk in my family. I wouldn't go to a movie and just open that door up. It's not worth it for me.
Yeah. I don't want to go to a movie.
We're not.
I didn't want to go before COVID.
We're not there yet. And yeah, that's another argument. Is there are a lot of people that would applaud the move as like, look, I would rather be at home on my couch. I don't care about the experience. I don't care about the families or the dates or the whatever nostalgic argument you can come up with. And they are all valid in their own way. It is a cultural thing that we are potentially losing for sure. I get that. But some of the stuff that we're getting instead, the convenience, is just as important to people for different reasons.
Yep.
It's going to be a complicated time. But Disney making that move may uncomplicate the matter a lot.
Oh, it will. Let's since we're talking about streaming anyway, let's transition over to HBO Max here.
Okay.
We actually have some really exciting news. They have no pun intended greenlit Green Lantern. The series. Apparently the show will depict the adventures of a multitude of lanterns, including Guy Gardner, Jessica Cruz, Simon Baz, and Alan Scott, Earth's first Green Lantern, who, true to the comics, is a gay man.
Nice.
And many more. The series will also include fan favorites such as Sinestro and Kilowog, and will also introduce new heroes to the ranks of the Green Lantern Corps. By the way, you know who's mysteriously not listed there?
Who dat?
John Stewart.
I wonder what you think he might be doing.
You know who just became a Green Lantern at the end of Arrow?
Mm-hmm.
John Diggle. So what if they didn't want to say John Stewart because they didn't want to blow the surprise and say John Diggle?
Hey, look, I'm okay with that.
Now look, HBO Max has ordered 10 one-hour episodes, and the series is going to be co-written and executive produced by Seth Grahame-Smith and Mark Guggenheim, with Grahame-Smith serving as showrunner. Berlanti Productions will produce, in association with Warner Brothers Television, where Berlanti is under a rich overall deal. Very rich.
I'm okay with everything going through Berlanti at this point.
Yeah. Now, Seth Grahame-Smith was the guy who was going to direct The Flash with Ezra a few years back. He's the novelist and screenwriter who did the Lego Batman movie and Dark Shadows, and he did Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. He did Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. He was a producer on the 2 recent It movies. He was a producer on the reboot of Child's Play that had Mark Hamill doing Chucky.
It feels like his stock got raised after you talked about Abraham Lincoln.
But now, look, Ray Fisher has this to say of Seth. Seth Grahame-Smith is an awesome dude through and through. We connected in a big way during his time on the Flash film. He's got a big heart, and I know he's going to slay Green Lantern. There is no better commander for the Corps. Well-deserved, Seth. Now, who was that other guy they mentioned?
Which one?
Guggenheim. Mark Guggenheim.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Where have I heard that name?
Man. Oh, wasn't he the showrunner for Arrow?
I've forgotten that show was canceled, and I forgot everything that came with it. But it does ring a bell that way.
Feels like he was also involved.
Maybe he just directed the
Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern.
Could possibly be he was entirely in charge of most of the stuff we enjoyed with that.
Yeah. He was the showrunner for most of Arrow. Can't imagine who he might want to play John Stewart for the series. Okay,
couple things. If you told me that Ramsey was going to go over and play the big screen GL, fuck yes, take my money. Yes. I absolutely believe the guy can handle it. I have no doubts whatsoever about it. Whatever metric they're using to measure that kind of thing, please, dear God, hear me now. Yes, he can do it. Please do it. The other option is if John Stewart GL is being used elsewhere, say, for instance, even like an HBO Max property, I'm okay with that too.
I just think it's, I think it's interesting that, they went out of their way to bring up several diverse lanterns.
Oh, yeah. They basically said like, oh, you wanted Green Lantern, but you couldn't decide. Okay. What if we gave you the fruit salad version?
Right. But, they went out of their way to say like, look, we have multi-ethnic lanterns and we have a gay lantern. but they don't bring up Jon Stewart? That's fishy. That's fishy, man. That's like that's the Lantern everybody knows, like, because of the Justice League cartoon. We all know who the hell Jon Stewart is.
Well, you say it's because of the cartoon, but honestly, right now, like I had to sit there and think to myself what Hal Jordan was doing in the current comics for a minute, and I'm pretty sure he's just
cool. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure Grant Morrison's just got him being like a space cop right now. But the current Justice League in the comics is Jon Stewart.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't realize that.
Oh yeah, no, the current Justice League.
I'm not caught up.
At the moment is, of course, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Martian, the Jon Stewart Green Lantern, Hawk Girl, and Cyborg, and Flash. Sorry, I think that's it. I'm sure I'm missing a bunch of auxiliary characters, but let's face it, if you're drawing a cover, I think those are the ones that show up on the Scott Snyder version of Justice League. But I mean, yeah, shit. There's no version of what you just described that I'm not okay with.
Yeah, like I honestly just think they didn't mention Jon Stewart because his name is not Jon Stewart. If they're doing David Ramsey, and they just didn't want to even like broach that topic yet.
I mean,
or give it away the surprise or something. Something's fishy about it.
I'll give you this. That would be a really boring way to do that reveal if I read it in a like if I saw a tweet that was like, the Diggle version of Lantern. Oh shit.
Now I fully
under 280
understand that
characters. You told me about that giant thing that's going to make me like scream and like bust sheetrock in my home and have to repair it. Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm punching a wall or a ceiling. It's happening.
Yeah, I'd be like, I willed this shit into existence, man. I'd be like Homelander on top of a building somewhere, fapping away. I can do anything.
Hold on. Where are you in that series?
Oh, I've finished it.
You have? Okay, I was about to say that's going to have a different meaning later.
No. It's like the last shot.
Yeah, it was. It was the last we saw him. Just making sure. Because like the first time he does it, it's very like... establishing his power, and the last scene he does it's very like he's literally and figuratively impotent,
as if we didn't know who that character was.
Like, tell me if I'm reading the scene wrong, because but I read that as someone who couldn't quite finish.
Oh, I don't know. Like I've read it as someone who was coming in the moonlight because he was convincing himself he could do anything.
Oh, okay. There's that too. I can see that too.
All right. So look.
We reserve that for Patreon.
And look, man, I don't know exactly all of the twists and turns, or if this is still connected to the Green Lantern Corps project Jeff Johns was talking about doing, or was doing for the longest time. I do think it's interesting that Jeff Johns isn't at all involved in this Green Lantern show, from what we can tell. And hopefully, WB and HBO Max are starting to taper his involvement in preparation for a possible ousting. They're just like, yeah, so Jeff, stuff's going around, as you know. Maybe we don't do this right now. Oh, you're just going to not do the Green Lantern show? We didn't say that.
Maybe we don't do this thing where we, let you go on site, first of all. And second, give you credit. And three, keep you on board for now.
Yeah.
Look,
all right,
as far as that goes, like, yeah, we're on board right now with the Johns is kind of a piece of shit theory, and I do believe it. I hope if you're listening at this point, you do trust that if we're wrong about that, of course, we'll explain that and say why. But for right now, this seems like the most likely thing.
Yep, we don't die on hills often here.
I haven't found one worth dying on yet. I've thought I was on a hill and then found a mountain and decided it would be better if I climbed that instead.
All right, we've got some listener questions here for the Green Lantern stuff. You want to talk about it? J. Scotty St. Clair over on Twitter says, does the involvement of DC veterans Mark Guggenheim and Seth Grahame-Smith do more to buoy or undermine your expectations for Green Lantern?
Buoy.
Yeah, I'm buoyed. In my heart, I've been mostly happy with Arrowverse. HBO Max opens up what they can do. The fact that it's 10 episodes, Arrowverse has always been better when it was shorter. And so we have Guggenheim, we have Berlanti, and to me, that means that we have a greater chance of seeing David Ramsey play the part, honestly.
Sure. I mean,
That's where I'm at.
There are problems that I have with that channel that I think do bleed over into the properties that we watch. Mm-hmm. I mean, the length of seasons and stuff like that, and just certain tropes that they hit too hard, that kind of thing. And for certain, Guggenheim in particular, we have specifically called out on a number of occasions for just lying in interviews. But end of the day, for me, that was in good fun, and I appreciate the job he's doing as far as that goes. I think overall they batted way out of their weight class for where they were.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So much so that it grabbed the movies and brought them in. That still is one of my favorite accomplishments in the entirety of television production that I've ever been privy to.
Yep.
So yeah,
all right,
big win for me.
Yeah. Chris Balga on Twitter says, do you see the Green Lantern show episodic or as an anthology series? And how do you foresee them bringing in Alan Scott since his powers are more magic-based? Any storylines that you hope they adapt in its first season? I personally don't have any storylines that I really care about that I just have to see adapted. They could do like a mishmash for all I care. I think it will be... I could see them doing more of an anthology, focusing, grabbing an episode per different Green Lantern and then slowly weaving that together for the big finale, sort of doing like Pulp Fiction, where you're just taking stories and then interweaving them.
A little bit.
Maybe like an Emerald Knights type of situation.
A little bit. I like that approach sometimes, and other times it has drawbacks. It's hard. It really depends on execution.
Yeah, and I'm not really sure how they'll weave in Alan Scott. I know in the comics they've sort of at times been he was really just harnessing, magic is science we don't understand, so he was, tapping into the same energy that that the Owens were using in the first place.
Yeah, but it's
did you understand that differently than I did?
The energy before they could articulate it, kind of thing. There are versions where it's wound in, and I don't know. I don't know if it would be a waste of time to go back for that exactly.
Well, his daughter Jade, she didn't even need a Green Lantern ring.
Yeah, also true
at times. So, they could do a lot of different things with it. They could play with it a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
Henry Cooper over on Twitter says, fan cast the announced roles for the Green Lantern TV show. Bill Burr for Guy Gardner. I've been saying it for years. And because she did a great job, Diane Guerrero as Jessica Cruz, I'd say.
Yeah, I'm good.
I don't know, for Alan Scott, Gary Busey came to mind.
No, too crazy.
Yeah, definitely. Ooh. What's his name? Bradley Whitford.
Oh,
right.
That actually, he's a bit short.
Oh well, who cares? Give him some lifts; he'll be fine.
Yeah, no, but torso length, you can see the ratio. I like where your head's at, but I want to say a bit taller. Is there a tall Bradley Whitford?
Yeah, it's called Bradley Whitford with lifts. I don't know what to tell you, man. If they can give me a 6'4" Wolverine, I can have a slightly shorter than average Alan Scott.
I accept that. No, I accept that fully.
Especially if he has his Get Out look, where he's just sort of like the refined dude with a beard and little glasses.
No, if we're doing that, I want him in full Studio 60 mode.
I think we're wanting different things from our Whitfords, man.
Really? Yeah. No, I was wondering in the full I don't know, the taking charge, but really willing to listen to people kind of mode.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you meant you wanted Alan Scott to start snorting coke.
No. He's even in that show, he's mostly in recovery. Actually, he's in recovery the entire show.
Yeah, he is, I think.
No, it's Matt Albee that has the codeine addiction.
Yes.
He's good.
It is.
Rector's good. We can trust him. Even though he failed the insurance thing that started the entire show. But anyway.
I need to watch that again.
I've been meaning to go back for that one too. It's so good.
I was just proselytizing that to Ray from Fans Without Borders. Mm-hmm. He was talking about how much he likes Sorkin, and I was like, dude, have you seen Studio 60? It's like, no. I'm like, dude, You got to check it out, man.
It's really fun to see, like, what's her name? Sarah something. She's one of the
Sarah Paulson.
Yeah, Sarah Paulson. Really fun to see her in the show, like being in the show, knowing that Sorkin was kind of writing that for Kristen Chenoweth in a way. I think that was what he was taking from at the time.
Interesting.
I believe that was who he was dating at the time. And that's who he had in mind. But I could be very wrong about that because it's been about 10 years since I was that deeply involved in Studio 60.
Yeah. So, do you have any fan casts? I know you don't normally do that, but
No, it's not my forte. But let's just do spitball. Who do you have?
I know. Well, I mean, I just told you, Bill Burr for Guy Gardner, Diane Guerrero as Jessica Cruz.
I can't beat either of those. They're fantastic.
Bradley Whitford for Scott Allen. I mean, Alan Scott. Sorry.
I feel like I should be able to beat the Alan Scott thing, but I have nothing I can contribute at the moment. Although the guy who, no, I don't know there.
No, you know who I would have said.
Well,
The guy that plays Homelander.
for Alan Scott?
Yeah, if we were doing like proper in his prime Alan Scott.
In his prime, yes, but I always imagine Alan Scott just a bit older than that.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about like, All American Comics, number 16.
No,
man.
I get that. I mean,
Like introducing the Green Lantern.
I literally have a picture of him on the high riser on my left. I get it.
I have that cover over here on the wall. I'm looking at it.
It's a purple Tommy gun, right?
Yeah, it is.
I get it. I don't know who I would put there either. It does have to be somebody kind of tall and blonde in a way.
I don't know, man. Looks like Homelander to me.
It does. I mean, yeah, he would do a good job with it. I wouldn't object to it at all. I would say that like Anthony Scott, I think is his name, is or Anthony Scott, I think is he just looks super young. I mean, there's no crack, no crow's feet, and for some reason, and it's probably because the character is as old as he is, that it always feels to me like he's supposed to be a little bit older.
Yeah. Maybe
I want him to have been around for a while.
Maybe that's the key. Like they can do flashbacks to him in his younger years and then throw on some makeup and go to the future, or present day. All right.
I'm good with that. I could live with that. I really could.
All right. Let's see. Let's move on to The Flash. John Wesley Shipp has confirmed that Jay Garrick is going to show back up in season 7.
Oh, yeah. I assume it's like an
happy
apparition
about
or
that.
something, but hey, dude.
Oh, I don't know. He says he is coming back to the show. They were supposed to be at a further point in the story. They didn't get to play out the end of season 6 because of COVID, as we know. So they've got to tie up some things. Eric Wallace has said that he does want to talk to me about some ideas about Jay Garrick going forward. So, like, we know that all these Earths are still around.
That's cool. And Eric Wallace will describe all of those ideas to us in detail after they're...
Yeah, give it a week. Yeah. He'll be like, I don't like spoilers, but here's what's going to happen.
And then he'll just do a screenshot of an NDA he just signed.
Now here's the thing though. John Wesley Shipp says we know that Joan and Jay are on Earth Prime. We'll see what they come up with. So we might not need the multiverse for Jay. It looks like he's on Earth Prime. I didn't know he was on Earth Prime. This is news to me.
It would be, yeah, that would be a bit news, but
that's fine.
If I told you there were a couple of rules to like a DC Crisis event, I might propose that there are several, but a couple of them would be these. 1, a Flash has to die. 2,
check.
A Flash has to come back.
Check.
So we're not outside the rules of the stuff we've all read.
Yeah. We got some Batwoman news. Do you remember a gang leader on Gotham named Sykes?
Oh, that name rings a bell.
They even showed me a picture in the article, and I still didn't know him.
I'm going to look that up while you're talking.
Anyway, the actor Alex Morph has been tapped to play or guest star as Victor Zsasz on season 2 of Batwoman.
Oh, I saw
official.
Him. All right, keep going. Sorry.
The official description of his character is, he's a charismatic, skilled hitman with high, unpredictable energy. He proudly carves tally marks onto his skin for every victim he kills. Yep, that sounds like Zsasz.
The description's there, yeah. Oh, okay. All right, I remember seeing the guy. No, I do remember seeing this this bit of news. And, seems fine. I do like the guy. Yeah,
I mean, I don't know him, but I don't remember him.
And that bit of character acting, I I remember it very briefly, but being okay with it. I just kind of liked that the idea of him going back to like not even a self-mutilating, because like psychologically that term is very specific. What he does is very different. He is a serial killer with tendencies. Like that's it's not about self-mutilation for him. But going back to that idea of him, like that seems very important to me for the character. The self-mutilating, the marking per, the remembering your victim kind of thing, all that is very important. That being said,
I mean, I don't know what you mean by going back to it, because they've been doing that. I haven't seen a version of Zsasz where they didn't do that.
Oh, only in Gotham. That's my point.
Well, Gotham, they did it.
Did they? I don't remember him actually self-mutilating.
Oh, yes, he did.
I'm misusing the term again. Sorry. When? Oh, no.
No, they did.
They did.
Mm-hmm. He like openly pulled up his sleeves and
I'm recalling the sleeve now that you've said it. Yeah.
He told different people that they were going to earn a mark right here.
Yeah, I recall that. I recall that.
Yeah. All right.
I'm going to miss his depiction, though. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I like that guy.
He's good. I hope I see him somewhere in the future.
Oh, gosh. I just saw that he was on something. Well, I don't know. I'll tell you when I'll probably talk to Bethany and she'll be like, oh, it'll be this.
Mm-hmm.
I sent this bit of news because I knew it was going to get a reaction. I sent this bit of news to Brent over on Fans.
Nice. A little bit of baiting. Okay, good.
Legends of Tomorrow has made Gary a regular character, series regular for season 6. I sent that to him, and his only response was, fuck Gary.
I had a feeling the response would not be positive.
No. But Entertainment Weekly does say that the character is not the mild-mannered goofball that our team of superheroes have taken him for all these years. And says that season 6 will explore Gary's origin story. It's even more bizarre than you would imagine.
Okay. Are we going to pull a Wesley?
Please.
Right?
Please.
Look, Gary was fun for what it's worth. You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of episodes focused on him more than they could have. Probably should have. But he has learned some neat stuff. He has shown some character development. Just think when we've talked about Gary, he's always been the butt of the joke. He's been... he's always been there for comedic effect. Yeah. I haven't had to take him seriously. If you gave me some reason he's supposed to be taken very seriously after all of that I've overlooked after all this time, I would be very, very interested as a viewer.
Yep, me too. And in case anyone doesn't know what the hell we're talking about when we say Wesley, there was a character he started out on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He was in season 3 as Buffy's watcher, and he was really incompetent. And then when Angel started the next year...
he was a visual gag to some extent.
Yes. And when he showed up on Angel the next year, he had gone rogue. He was calling himself a rogue demon hunter.
Now hurting himself with weapons he had forged for himself.
Well, no. First, yes, somewhat.
Get there, but...
He was still like not taken seriously. And then a whole bunch of shit goes down, and we come back in like season 3 or 4 of Angel or something like that. And he's got like weapons, like swords that are like, coming out of his sleeves, and he's just a badass, and he's just completely just 180 from what he was before. And someone, I think it was Angel,
reworked his charisma. Like if he was a D&D player, they re-rolled his charisma, and he rolled well.
Yeah, and then Angel tracks him down. He's like, "What the hell happened to you, Wesley?"
Yeah,
and Wesley just kind of turns slightly and says, "I was betrayed by my best friend and had my throat slit." And you're just like, "Damn!"
To the point, they literally have a scene where he is left for dead in a park.
Yeah, and I'm sure I've got some of that wrong. I'm sure I got some of those quotes wrong. I haven't watched that episode since like 2000.
The tins hadn't rolled around yet. Yeah, I'm with you. We were watching it at the same time when I went back and rewatched all everything. But like it eventually gets to the point where like He's running the entire law firm for, Wolfram and Hart. That's basically the devil himself's like law firm when he needs it. And, his Fred gets in trouble at some point, and somebody suggests mildly, just a suggestion, that they should maybe work on another case. And he just opens a drawer, shoots them in the leg, puts the firearm back in the drawer, and says, "Let me know if you have any complaints."
Yep.
Until then, I expect all resources to be directed toward the what's her last name?
The Burkle case.
Yeah, the Merkel case.
Yeah.
Does this without flinching, does it without looking up from his papers. Now, point being, it's a giant transition of a character from what was like, eight years almost of screen time? Mm-hmm. And from just goofy dude who literally could have gone away the next episode and we didn't give a fuck, to, oh my God, this character's story is a very important thing.
Right. And I feel like
Rewrites
if they're
the series
going,
to some extent.
I would love for them to go this way with Gary. And I feel like if they go this way with Gary, his transition into badass and how much of a badass he is should be as proportional to how goofy he was. And since he was at least 1,000% goofier than Wesley ever was,
I'm actually willing to argue that point. I think it's maybe one or two times, depending on the scene. And depending on who we're... Yeah. I think they're both equally goofy at times.
I would sincerely hope... Like, I want Gary to turn into that, like, motorcycle dude from Raising Arizona. Like the bounty hunter. Just running around shooting rabbits. And blowing up iguanas or something. I don't know.
I'm willing to go with you. I just, and this is embarrassing for me, need another example because I watched Raising Arizona when I was like 6 and I haven't seen it since.
Oh, Gary needs to be Lobo.
Cool. Gotcha. Good.
Yeah.
I'm on board now.
All right. Let's talk about this weird travesty that's going to piss off.
He did have like a lot of confidence when he was obscuring the artifacts and stuff. I was hoping that would have some indication. That'd be great. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So HBO Max is making a show called Batwheels.
Sorry, you're having trouble holding it together while you... All right, go ahead.
Not because I think it's that bad of an idea. It's just I think it's really funny how angry I've seen some people get over it.
Oh, good. Okay.
They are a team of incredible crime fighters who have banded together to oppose evil, combat crime, and clean up the streets of Gotham City. They are, they're not Batman and Robin. They're the Batwheels, an awesome group of sentient, superpowered crime-fighting vehicles defending Gotham City alongside Batman, Robin, Batgirl, and a host of DC superheroes. Having just been created by the Batcomputer, our heroes are essentially kids with little to no life experience. Led by Bam, the Batmobile, the Batwheels, BB, the Batgirl Cycle, Red, the Redbird, Jet, the Batwing, and Buff, the Battruck. They must navigate the growing pains of being a newly formed super team, as well as the growing pains that come with just being a kid. This relatable and aspirational series will follow the journey of this dynamic team as they thrill and entertain with their heroic adventures, as well as demonstrate to kids, one more, kids, the value of self-confidence, friendship, and teamwork. The Tom Mashim, president of Warner Brothers Global Kids, Young Adults and Classics, says, Batwheels is the perfect show to headline our new foray into preschool.
Of course.
Preschool. Not angry 40-year-olds in their mother's basements being angry that Batman isn't being taken seriously. Preschool.
Do you feel better?
No. I never feel better.
Did you get that out of your system? I don't disagree with a single part of your take. I'm just asking, do you feel better?
I don't know anymore.
Yes, that's silly as hell. At some point in you describing it to me, I thought, I think I've had a dream like this. Uh-huh. I forgot it. I have forgot it until you've just mentioned, but I think I've had similar, notions while I was sleeping.
My only question is it canon with Crypto and Ace the Bat Hound?
That's what it reminded me of when you were telling me about it. It was like, look, there are things we just We know they're out there.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't enough time. I mean, I say that, but like 6 years ago when we were talking about even recording this show, we thought there was going to be a time for that kind of thing. The environment changed.
No. Hey, and it could all go away any moment and we can just catch
We'll
up.
just go back to Crypto and Ace cartoons and that'll be fine. I think they were written by Paul Dini, weren't they?
Some of them, yeah.
That's got to be glorious. They're probably like heart-wrenchingly wonderful.
Probably, yeah.
Oh, speaking
I've
of our earlier
I've actually seen a few episodes and it's actually pretty solid.
I don't doubt.
It's enjoyable.
I have one request at this point in my in my day-to-day life. If Disney Plus does anything, I need them to keep Bluey going. It's just an Australian show about a dog family. I need them to keep it going because my daughter loves it, and I actually think it's not that bad.
Okay.
Just a heartfelt plea.
That should be a tweet
for whatever
on your personal
algorithm is listening.
A tweet on your personal account.
Oh, I'll do that too.
Let's get to this the
be a
last bit of this
campaign.
listener feedback. In order, Stu Little, who is now referring to himself as Stu Lethal. I don't know if that's a threat to us or not.
It's the Wesley thing, like we talked about before.
It says, clear his throat. Hey, what the hell, man? I thought you guys were supposed to be professional. I sent an overly long and tedious email. He did. On to Henry Cooper. We'll get to it, Stu. Give me a second.
I've read it. It was gloriously written. It's an essay. It's actually really well thought out.
Yeah. Sounds like someone's shooting over here.
Really
strange.
Really does. I'm not going to rule it out. Now we're just
Kinda
listening
freaking
to
out.
the sound of people shooting. I mean, I don't know what else to do. We can't record. Just going to have to let that. I guess they ran out of shots. What was that, 8, 9?
Yeah, I got it under my desk, man.
It was loud.
It was getting closer to me. Good Lord.
Honestly, I at this point I live next to a pasture with a bunch of woods, and if I hear that, I just kind of listen for direction a little bit, and unless it sounds crazy, I just kind of assume it's people just playing in their backyard.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or shooting coyotes, because the people that own the pasture have pretty much open permission to the people that live next to the pasture that if they see a coyote, just do your thing.
Yeah. All right, let's get back. Henry Cooper.
Alabama
over on
conversations, y'all.
Henry Cooper on Twitter says, Pennyworth Season 2 starts airing in like 2 months. You guys to hurry up and finish it. I know. I know.
Yeah.
Okay, real talk though. I want to watch it, Season 1. I probably will not watch Season 2 until it's all out. And then we can just do a recap. And I think because of, all the coronavirus delays, we actually might be able to get to this. What do you think?
I'm going to guess so. I have been wrong
I mean,
before.
there's a trailer out there, and I haven't watched it.
I know. I've been wrong before about what I thought we could get to. And even over this summer, we have been very wrong about what we thought we would get to.
Very.
Yeah. We had a whole animated universe lineup planned. Didn't come to fruition.
No.
Just didn't happen.
It's funny when you cut out one thing, like 5 gray hairs come back up in its place. I was going to say Hydra, but I'm not supposed to say that on this show.
Well, it's not even that. They don't use the concept of the Hydra isn't used. Well, they do name check it. Yeah, you cut one, the rest come back hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had ambitions. We still have ambitions, and we're trying.
Sure.
But doesn't mean it happens. We're still trying. So yeah, I've lost the ability to predict what we're going to be able to do, like in that sense.
No, yeah, no, it's not a promise by any stretch, but hopefully.
But damn it, it's going on the list, and we will prioritize it.
I mean, it's been on the list. It's just, I'm looking at the window now and going, we might need to go ahead and do that.
All right, we're going to try to knock that out the list really hard.
Yep. Stu Lethal. Sorry, man. I can't take that name seriously. Stu Little. Says if DC stood for something else besides Detective Comics, what should it be? What do you think, Jason?
Based on a lot of my Twitter interactions, I think it should just be don't comment.
That was sad as the first thing that came to mind was Doctor of Chiropractic.
Nice.
It's like Batman's just like, Alfred, Damian needs L1 and L5 alignment. Damian, you need to strengthen those lower back muscles. Have you ever used a yoga ball?
Back in the days of returns on releases of movies, it maybe just didn't care.
Oh, yeah. Maybe, yeah.
We live in different times now.
All right, so before we get to the Stu email, because he did send us yet another gentle reminder, as he puts it, of the Smallville email from last show.
I remember a series of exclamations, but I get your point. It was a fair point. Like I said, it was a very nuanced email. I didn't want to rush it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to not rush it. Look, let's get to this voicemail real quick.
Hey, David. Sorry about that. I was choking on a piece of gum. But with the news of Justice League Dark coming out, like a spin-off show for Constantine and Zatanna, do y'all think they should do episodes before? Maybe like 3 or 4 episodes of Constantine, and then 3 or 4 episodes of Zatanna, and then I really want to see Bobo, so if they have like maybe 2 episodes for him, and then lead up to like a all-together show. Would you guys want to see that? And if so, what characters would y'all want to see on there? All right, guys. Keep doing a good job. All right, guys. Later.
You all right, man? Don't choke. I mean, it's okay, man. You don't have to swallow your gum.
We've all literally choked.
Yeah, we have.
On this podcast.
I've done so, yes, on this podcast. Yes.
I was tempted to do so in solidarity.
So, what I would like to see, because of how Netflix wound up finding the numbers on the Defenders shows, they had no, people would watch the Defenders and not watch Iron Fist. People would watch, Iron Fist and not watch Jessica Jones and all sorts of random stuff.
No, people watch the crossovers on CW, but don't watch any of the shows contributing to it.
Right. So
Still a thing.
I would say, and maybe this is my own recent bias, I say they do Justice League Dark like they do The Boys. Just tell a story, have those characters be interesting. Don't worry about making individual episodes all about one of them. And if a character is a breakout, and we know that JJ is talking about doing a Constantine show, or talking about doing a Zatanna show. If a character's a breakout,
see where they get you.
Do that show. Yeah, do a show about it. But I wouldn't tie it in with the Justice League Dark story as much as I would just use that as a stepping stone to more individual stories where you can flesh out those characters and each character's individual universe. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's an instinct there that I like, and to me it was represented really well in, say, Doom Patrol and Titans, where they kind of have like a focus pull in certain areas. And, production wise, you can tell, X actor was off the list for this episode and didn't have as many responsibilities and, scheduled times. But there are ways to do that really well that even still, can glove into the rest of the series and look really good and be a lot be really rewarding. There's also something that I kind of fear when it's brought up is the Arrested Development problem.
Yeah.
As an ensemble show, that thing is untouchable. As a show that was put on Netflix to bring it back, where they had to recut everything a certain way later to redo the series to make it seem more like the original series, there are some detriments to doing characters. You do lose interest with certain viewers, and let's face it, these things are not perfect. It is an industry that revolves around viewers and money and, frankly, attention span. So when you focus on somebody for a minute, you lose other people. That part is zero sum.
Yeah.
You don't get everything. Like even the people you keep, there are people that just go, no, fuck you, and change it. Yeah. So I don't know. It is a trade-off, and it has to be done well.
Yeah. No, I don't mind seeing them all, come together and watching like certain individuals come together and then slowly build a team. Yeah. And to fight whatever. But I don't think I just want to be like episode 1, Constantine. I don't.
Yeah, I think I'd prefer not to do that exactly. It has its merits as far as like yeah, sure, the Avengers, before the Avengers was a bit of a building process, and it was rewarding to watch that happen. Yeah. A little bit unprecedented to watch the process itself happen, but even in television where things do operate differently, and even in streaming where things operate very differently. I'll tell you this. I think if you're going to do that method where you focus on somebody, if you drop the entire season at once, you got a way better chance. Like if I have to wait a week because I got bored with an episode, there is a mentality, and for the most part, that's not me, but I mean, it depends on the property. It depends on the property and the time. If I don't know, and if you don't hold my interest from week to week, yeah, dude, I can bail just like anybody else. I get it. If you can drop everything at once and I can just watch everything at once, yeah, this may be a very different conversation.
Right. Yeah. I believe he asked what characters we wanted to see too. Honestly, man, I as long as this got Constantine, Swamp Thing, Zatanna, and Detective Chimp, they can play with all the others, man. I would like to see Ragman, honestly. I would love to see Ragman floating around.
I would. The current books are,
Dr. Fate. I need Dr. Fate.
Yeah, Dr. Fate's a heavy player in the current books. Both versions of Dr. Fate.
I really do like the idea of Wonder Woman being involved.
Oh, it's been a lot of fun. But they have done a pretty good job in the series right now of bringing her in as a heavy hitter. Mm-hmm. And honestly, they have used her to kind of rewrite the magic universe in DC in general to some extent. Mm-hmm. But they don't lean on her too hard. Like, yeah, for series or for runs they do, or for stories they do. But then they kind of back off and look at the whole picture. So, yeah, you've always got those people. You've got some Blue Devils on the outside, some
Blue Devil.
Some Night Masters hanging around the perimeter that
they're
dead now.
Can we get like an Atlantean witch doctor up in there?
They have been visited.
Yeah, I know.
And yeah, look, Atlanteans are straight magic wielders at times. Fuck yeah, bring them in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, they've had a lot of fun. And the magic universe in DC just has so much you can grow into.
Absolutely.
Dude, they're demons, angels, and everything between. Fucking go crazy.
All right. Let's wrap it up with Stu's email here. Now, Stu Little, or Lethal, Stu Lethal, sorry. Forgot how serious he became. He's just like, Wesley. Went from little to lethal. Holy shit.
I love how that's wrapped up.
Stu sent us an email a couple weeks back. Stu's been noticing a lot of what he called rose-tinted nostalgia for Smallville, specifically from people using Smallville to bash Arrowverse. But he thinks that all the things they're complaining about in regards to Arrowverse were inherited from Smallville. Cheap-looking costumes, love triangles, the superheroes having a team instead of figuring it out for themselves, differences from canon. He does reiterate that he likes Smallville, and he credits Smallville with being ahead of the curve for casting Dean Cain as a psychotic supervillain.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. But yeah, personally, and maybe in the past I have, and maybe I just unfollowed or muted those people, but I haven't seen anyone having this particular criticism that I can remember. I mean, as we all know, my memory's shit. But, I've maybe even complained about it on the show before, but
no,
I haven't seen it in a long time at the very least.
Personally, I think your memory's far better than mine, and between the two of us, we can hope to do the work of one person. I'll give him the overall point, though.
I'm sure there are people out there doing it.
Where it came in was this criticism that the Arrowverse is both too nostalgic and not nostalgic enough at the same time. In a way, like I get the point. It's not like they're writing the book on
deviations.
Yeah, and they're not lowering the bar either. Like the idea that the Arrowverse is like just bringing in these cheap versions of things. Look, dude, you and I bring this up a lot. Let's give Geomancer as the bar. Yeah, that's terrible writing. But, frankly, it didn't look great either. Mm-hmm. But is that the first time we've ever seen something like that? No. Not even close. And Smallville, for the 10 years we had it, did an incredible job of world bending. But it also did... There's a lot of blue balling in there, too. Like, we waited years for stuff that should have maybe taken episodes. Mm-hmm. We saw versions of people that were, amazing to see, but you wonder, was that as good as it felt when we had it, or were we a man wandering in the desert who found a patch of water? Like, yeah, the Martian Manhunter didn't look great. Brainiac didn't look great. The Legion didn't look great.
Manhunter didn't look great, but looking at, because he included photos.
Looking at them, they don't look great.
Looking back, they don't. But looking back at that Manhunter, which he was played by Philip Morris, and I love Philip Morris.
Yeah, I do too.
Or Phil Morris. Man, I love that aesthetic. I love the look. Like, if the CG was better, if his head hadn't been so big, if they'd gave him a little padding, something. But honestly, like Detective Manhunter, where he's just got like a cross between like an old style detective and Martian Manhunter, I dig the shit out of that. Like, that's the old school Martian Manhunter holding guns, dude. Like, I'm down.
I get it.
I don't know. I dig it. I dig it.
Look, the aesthetic's cool. I get that. But no, I mean, like, looking back, no, it didn't look fantastic.
No,
we can admit that. It's fine. It still felt great to see. It's not. That's, I think, one of the points Stu was making here is like, no, it doesn't invalidate something that it's not the best it could possibly have been.
Yeah. I mean, and for all we know, it was the best it could have possibly been for the budget and the time.
Oh, for the budget and the time, sure. For the time, no, but for the budget and the time, yes.
But also the people involved in Smallville, they were going for a very specific kind of aesthetic. They were not going for comic book. They were going for, let's try to make this into contemporary teenage years Kansas.
Yeah.
And I think they succeeded for the most part on that. And Arrow and the Arrowverse is a different beast in a lot of ways.
Hey, man, I mean, they took some risks and shit. They did a great job for what they had at their disposal. I'm not trying to say anything about that, but to Stu's point, when you compare it to the Arrowverse, yeah, dude, there were a lot of pratfalls that they both hit. Mm-hmm. Pitfalls, I mean. Anyway, pratfalls too.
But yeah, I like both of them. I love Smallville.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the crap out of it.
Yeah. It still warms my heart. So,
Shamalama. Let's call it. I'm done. Stick a fork in me. I still got a Star Trek cast to do.
Yeah. Go do your thing.
Thank you for listening to DC On Screen. Thank you everyone who contributed and sent in questions and long-ass emails, Stu, and reminded me several times to talk about it. Sorry.
Genuinely sorry
that
took a long time to get back to. Sorry.
DCOnscreen.com for every episode. If you want to support us without throwing in for Patreon, man, just share us with your friends. Pop over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a good review. A good written review is awesome as well. I don't know. Until next time, keep some DC on your screen.
Somebody save me.
No, they're going to flag us for copyright.
No, that's fair use. I think you have to have a few measures. No, it's like 1 3/4. We're not far enough. We're fine.
I was joking anyway.
Our intro music is by Jason Goss and Michael Shackelford. Michael's band, Galactic Engineers of Magnetic Sounds, or GEMS, can be found on SoundCloud and Bandcamp. Visit DCOnscreen.com to find our Patreon, merch, contact information, and every episode of the show for free, including crossovers we've done with other podcasts. DC On Screen is a maladjusted production. For more from me and Jason, including sketch comedy, vlogs, parodies, and our improvised web series Hey Guy, visit maladjusted.tv.